Inahane waste. Good morning, everyone. Got some flint ridge here. It's a pretty thin flake. Been doing rather well with these. This might be probably the third or fourth attempt at flint ridge. Fortunately, I have some, thanks to a friend on YouTube, Mr. Greenbird. I have a few chunks that I'm going to try to work over the next couple days. This one here's got promise. A lot of people will look at these and say, you can't do nothing with that. Even if you get a point that big, you did something with it. Okay, so where do we start? My favorite hammerstone. It's a bit wore out. Trying to do different camera angles to make a better video, and maybe I'll explain things I'm doing as I go along. I'm not very good at that. And if you saw yesterday's video, so far Spanky has yet to show his face. For those of you that don't know who Spanky is a little hairy spider. And yesterday, he kept walking up to me. I was sitting here. And I'm not a big fan of spiders. Really, I'm like a girl sometimes with spiders, but jumping spiders for some reason don't bug me. But he just kept coming in my direction. So I picked up a screwdriver, and I don't believe in killing anything, even out of anger. Everything has a right to live as much as I do. But every time I'd take the screwdriver and try to chase him away, he'd lift up his two front legs and put himself in a pose. Excuse me. And I know it's his attack mode. And well, the distance between the handle and the screwdriver, I just didn't feel safe enough. I don't know if they bite. I don't think they do. But I'm not willing to find out. And I'm not going to do any research. But a couple times he put himself in attack mode. And at one point, he actually went after the tip of the screwdriver and jumped from there onto my hand. So I freaked out. I threw him off. And then I watched his progress. He moved a little further to my right. But 10 minutes later, we went through the same thing. But this time, I used this, which is a much further distance. And he got into attack mode, come over to the tip, and started running up the tip. Again, I shake him off. And he goes about his business. But he kept coming back. So I tried to divert him to a different direction. And finally it worked. 15 minutes later, I feel something on the back of my neck. Brush it off, it's him. And then that's when I made that video. Prior to chasing him away, I mean, there was a few more times. This went on for like about an hour and a half. all the places in the world to be, and you got to be right here with me? No. Sorry, Spanky. Sent some mail out today. Sold some arrowheads yesterday, did pretty well. I'm actually getting a little bit better every day at it. Impressing myself. I think that'd be worthy of Jack Crafty's opinion. So got that one. This one here is one of my favorites. I did this one a little while back. Let's see if I can try to get a better angle on that. Another one of my favorites. This one here is very pointy and very sharp. The Vaculite. I'm really digging this stuff. But I went through quite a bit of it. It's an unpredictable material. I got a few more over here. Most of them I sent in the mail this morning to a girl out in Kankakee, Illinois. And if you're watching, Nicole, I hope you enjoy everything I put in there for you and Zach. There's a certain one in there. It's got a really unique color to it. And that's the one that you should string up and hang from his mirror, if you don't mind. So I know Zach, he's busy. Busy with automobiles and cats, so he won't get it done. Alright, try to break this down and keep this video to a shortness. So today is my day off from work. It's very cool here. Yesterday we had, I probably imagine about 76 degrees and sunshine. I got up today, it was very cool. Right now it's probably about 56 degrees. And it's allergy season. So, yes, I have sniffles again. I try not to take medicines because they don't make me feel altogether there. I usually use a lot of natural remedies. But with the moving process, my main daily driver is in the body shop. So it's like everything's scattered about and I can't find anything. See, now that tip there is being a little stubborn, which is okay because that means at some point it's probably going to break off the top here. I try to work into them as much as possible without breaking too much material off. I seem to be getting very good at this, so work slowly into it. Something like this will probably make a really nice point. And if I walk away with something that big, that's fine too. Because Ohio Flint Ridge, I've probably called it Pine Ridge before, I'm sorry, but it's Ohio Flint Ridge. This stuff is, in my opinion, the coolest things I've ever seen. I have yet to work anything else that is as neat looking as this stuff. Although this isn't a very colorful piece. It's brown, grayish, blue, slight hue of green going through the center. The other ones here, actually I think this one here was River Candy if I'm correct on that one. This is a really neat looking piece too. Like yesterday I went over to my spot in Aquashikla and I collected a bunch of rock. I highly doubt I'll ever work this on camera. You can go through about 50 pounds of this and usually get nothing. But look at that. Yellow, red, brown. I got a piece somewhere that has a real beautiful sharp purple in it. But I sent some of this to Greenbird. Just keep in mind, it is junk. This is probably the first stuff I ever started working. Sometimes you hit it, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you're going real good and then all of a sudden it just snaps in half. I enjoy working on it, I really do. Sometimes I'll put other things aside and just work on it. If I ever make one on camera, I'll post a video, of course. But I don't really have any confidence in that stuff yet. I made one yesterday and it was pretty decent looking. And that one went bye-bye. Because the person that saw it really fell in love with it, so I'm happy about that. Trying to think of a few things to talk about. But for the most part, I'm in my new place now. And one of my favorite things is sitting here in the morning with coffee. And off to the front of me here, there's a real swampy area and it's got a lot of green lush life in it. And that's where the birds frolic. And then there's all different types of birds. I've seen some other things like groundhogs, hawks. Neighbor girl says there's wild turkey. I have yet to see them. I know they exist because we used to live about a mile from here on the Aquashikla River here. And every morning we'd be out on the deck. You could hear them over in the mountainsides, not too far away from here, doing their turkey stuff. Alright, I tried to break it down with that small hammer stone. It's proving to be a little on the difficult side, so we're going to switch up to a little bit bigger. There we go. I'm trying to bring that edge up a little. Yeah, we got ducks too. Geese, well, everybody's got geese. That's not really a big deal. Kind of looking forward to landscaping, all natural. So far, a lot of the trees and bushes that we've had removed are being replanted probably about 15 miles from here. Because like I say, I don't believe in killing anything. I'm not a tree hugger. It's just the way it is. As far as I'm concerned, I wasn't put on this earth to murder and destroy. Alright, now we're starting to take shape. Might even pull the duct tape off. I don't think I'm going to really need it. Okay, I'm going to try to remove that right there. We have a lot of catbirds. Some people call them mockingbirds. I don't have a good history with catbirds. Catbirds are not afraid of humans. And they're very noisy and they're very disrespectful like little children. That's what my father's one time. He had one in a tree. We were outside drinking coffee and, you know, just shooting the breeze. And there was one in the shrubbery off to the side by his wall. And this guy was going on and on and on, and he just wouldn't stop. So I go over to the bush and I pull a branch aside, and he's about maybe 10-15 inches from me, and he's still going at it. Like I say, they're not afraid of humans. And I didn't politely tell him to shut up. I really yelled at him. Figured maybe he would just buzz off. You know, my father warned me that he was going to give me the business. Because my dad knows all about catbirds. To me, I just wasn't that familiar with them. And he jumped about 5-10 inches right to my face. Screamed at me. I told the story to my wife. And my wife goes, "Oh yeah." She goes, "There was a few of them one time that were chasing her grandfather on a riding mower." And she told me a few other stories, and I was laughing because, you know, you'd think they would go away. But no, catbirds are very, around here they push the other birds around. If it isn't them, it's the blue jays, the crows, and the crows here are very big. I lived up on the other side of the hill here. It's kind of like a mountain. And, I mean, we had crows up there. And I seen what they did every morning, you know, going around messing with all the other birds. But birds down here are just, the crows are just a lot bigger. There we go. Now that little spot's removed. So now if I just take my time, should be alright. One thing about Flint Ridge, if you work it just correct, this and Novaculator are probably two of my favorites. Obsidian is very easy. I work that more as a pleasure, or if I just want to burn out a few arrowheads. Oh, look at that. Yesterday I pumped out quite a few. Trying to keep stock going because I'm going to be opening up an Etsy soon. I'm not really even sure how popular Etsy is. I see a lot of people do it. I'm not up on things. But I'm gonna give it a try. So as soon as I do, I'll start attaching the address and stuff to the videos, and then you can come and check them out. The guy I'm partnered up with, he's going to be new to it as well. He says he's not computer savvy, but he just doesn't realize how savvy he really is. Okay, coming along rather well. I have a few jobs lined up that I got to get done. One of them I'm really looking forward to. I'll take a break here and show you quick. This is birch that I got out of the Lehigh near the Devil's Pulpit. So in case you're watching, Ted, you got your wish. I will make handles out of wood from Kittatinny, Lehigh Gap, Aquashikla. All my wood will come from my surrounding areas. But anyway, this is birch, and I'm going to be making a tomahawk. So the guy I'm making this for, great guy, man, great guy. I sent him a message and I told him, I says, hey, I found these online simply because I can't forge. And the price is right. They're, I guess, wholesaling. I don't know if they're going out of business or what it is. These are native made, which is a bonus. So he says, okay, he says, I'm going to grab a couple and send them to you. And so I said, a couple? And he goes, yeah. He goes, I want you to make one for yourself as well and match them. So he has more bragging rights, which I think is pretty cool. So anyway, later on today I'm going to start sanding this down, and then I'm going to start etching it. I got a lot of cool ideas. And then while I'm doing these, getting them sanded down, I'm going to try to keep them as rustic looking as possible. Because let's be realistic, 200 years ago, no Mohican or Lenape were walking through the woods with a well-milled handle from a hardware store. And these are cast, which makes that a lot better, because that's the way it was done in the old days. Oh, anyway, getting back to what I was doing. Yeah. And another thing too, I've been working with a copper bopper. I'm gonna need a lot more practice. A lot more. Alright. I have a lot of old tools, like screwdrivers sharpened up, a broom handle with copper in it, and I believe in using hand pads. I got this as a gift from Greenbird. This thing is really cool, and I've been using it a lot. It's not really something to use with obsidian when you try to make real thin points. I haven't had any luck doing that with this. If they're a little thicker, fantastic. Matter of fact, for something like this, it's great. Got this as a gift from them too. Yesterday I was working on some old porcelain plate that I got out of the dump with this setup, and just practicing, and I don't have the piece handy where I'd show you. It came out pretty darn good. See how nice that works? Pretty sharp edge too. A couple more things I got out of the dump yesterday. This is Vicks Vapor Rub. Obviously, I don't believe in breaking glasses that survived, but for this color, yeah, this is the victim. Some old something bottle. I have no clue what this is yet. And this is going to be a victim too. Although it's got some weight to it, so, and the lid's still on it. I'm not sure what's in it. Depending what it smells like, it might just go right in the garbage. Looking forward to working on these though. I have probably 5 of them. And my sister is a bartender. She's a sweetheart. She supplied me with 3 bottles. Now hopefully the glass in this is worth... Hey, there's still booze in here. Gotta get rid of that. Yeah. I don't drink. 80 proof. If anybody out there has ever worked these, there's Crown Royal. Let me know if it's worthwhile. I won't get to them for a long time yet. Then we got some Christian Brothers. Yeah. For those Christians. Helps them wash away their guilt. Yeah. Okay. to the job at hand. This tool I'm using is a indirect percussion tool that I made, and I don't think I could switch to another setup. I've grown quite fond of it. For the most part, it works rather well. Sometimes you have to abuse it just a little bit more. See, now we're starting to take shape. I've also learned to calm down on my abrading. Catbird. I don't know if you heard him. Sounds a little peeved. I wasn't going to make a video today, but the wife went to work, so I can goof off. Yeah. So I was busy packing a big box for my friend Mr. Greenbird, and oh, I find all kinds of goodies around here. I even put some stuff in there for the daughter. She likes to interrupt your videos, I see. So maybe those will keep her busy and keep her away from you. I have no granddaughter today, so there won't be any noise upstairs. Although I can hear my kitty cats right above me. They know I'm home. I just got back from the post office. And they think that every time I come home, they're going to get wet food. No. Oh, hell no. Especially Sophie. She's starting to get big. I can tell you how chubby she's getting, because she's spoiled, of course. I really love Sophie. I'm not afraid to admit it. Sometimes you have that one certain pet that's just very special, and that's Sophie. Lucas is great, don't get me wrong, but Sophie's my little buddy. But anyway, her getting as chubby as she is, she got little skirts on the side of her back, on the sides, right in front of her back legs. So my daughter decided to nickname her Mud Flaps. It's not very nice, Victoria. Look how nice that's coming along. Josh, when you start using your stick, just remember, man, take your time. Use a lot of practice rock first. That way you get a basic idea of how it works. The box of, there's actually a box, and I believe I put a Tic Tac container in there, because I like Tic Tacs. Just bought some at the gas station this morning. Anyway, the aquashicla that's in there, like I said, it's a very unpredictable rock. If you want to practice on that, that's fine, but keep in mind that it really monkeys up the tips. So if you decide to go, say, from aquashicla to Flint Ridge or obsidian, make sure to smooth the tip off, because aquashicla really rips them up. And if you can come to any conclusion as to what kind of rock it is, if it's like agate or petrified mud, I don't know. I call it chert simply because sometimes it snaps as easy as chert does. You could be going like through the piece, get the tip just the way you like it, and all of a sudden you get into something a lot tougher. And then that's where you get heartbroken. But if you make something out of it, be proud of yourself, because I've made a few. The first time I found this stuff, it's only in one location around here, and thankfully it's on family property, so it's kind of one of those things no one else can really go there. But first time I found it, I started hitting it with a hammerstone, and it was a very exciting day because I did a lot of experimenting around here just to find that that type of rock. For you new guys out there, it could take a while, but you'll find you some. Just got to look around your area, start doing some research, start learning the history of the area. I mean, for the most part, Benjamin Franklin was pulling his flint from somewhere around here. And yes, Benjamin Franklin was hanging around Aquashikla a lot. When I seen that in a history book, I knew he had a big to-do up in Weisport, which is about maybe 5 miles from here. They had a fort there and all that happy horse stuff. But there was a barn over here that they used to hide out in when it would rain during the conflicts. And the forts up here were set up simply because there was a lot of disgruntled natives, and they were coming in and burning stuff down. Rightfully so too, though. I mean, for everything that ever happened. I don't pick or choose sides when it comes to the whole European native thing. I don't really, I don't know how to explain it. But I did find the frame for that barn. It's a big concrete frame. Very, very destroyed now. I mean, it's still there, kind of washed down into the water already. And if anyone local wants to know where it's at, I think it's 2nd Street. Follow 2nd Street back to the playground where the septic system is in the back. And as you go around the corner to the back road, you remember the old power junction there where all the old canal homes are. And where that power junction is, park your car in front of it, and you can walk around behind it, and then just walk down towards the creek near the trees, and you'll see the barn. Well, not the barn, but the frame. There was a fort built here in Palmerton as well, and there was one over in Walnutport along the trails. Fort Allen was the big one up in Weisport, and Weisport's down in a dip between Lehighton and Franklin Township, and Lehighton is the new name. I think it was renamed in the 50s. I'm not sure on that one at the moment, but Lehighton used to be called Maiden-Hutton. It's a Dutch word. Well, actually, it's a Dutch native word. The Moravians and the Lenape and some Mohicans in Susquehanna, well, those were called the Christian Indians. They didn't really have names anymore after that. But anyway, the Dutch and the natives were trying to understand each other's language, and at some point in time, it technically became a mixed match language. Like to this day, I always thought that Aquashikla, and I'm going to pronounce it the way the Dutch do, Aquashikla. It's actually Aquashikola, but I always thought that that was a Dutch word, which it's not. It's a Lenape word. It means fishing with bush nets. Machunk, Kitatini, Tamine, all around here, a lot of these words I never realized it. Again, always thinking they were Dutch. Pennsylvania is well known for Dutch, as well as Ohio and a few other places. And anyway, Nathan Hutton. That was the home of the very first Nathan Hutton massacre. And that's the area I was born in. My birth certificate even has it in large letters on it. It's pretty neat looking. Okay. We're making great progress here. I hope the camera's picking this up. I just got a new iPhone. It's a much bigger one. I don't think it's going to make an improvement, but I completely destroyed my old phone. So my youngest daughter said that she had one I could use, so I'm using hers until I get a new one. They're not cheap anymore, not like they used to be. Used to be able to get one for about $200 brand new, not no more. Now you make payments on them like an automobile. Touche, Apple, touche. I've been looking at GoPros. I just think those prices are ridiculous. But I guess that's the difference between Gene Team and Jordache, kind of in comparison. I think a lot of things on the market today are overpriced. I mean, personally, I could go buy a digital camera for about $30 and get the same effect. And a tripod, well, I'm not cheap, but I do believe in repurposing things. As far as a tripod, a wooden stake that you can stick in the ground, duct tape your camera to it. Right now the phone's duct taped to a stool. And far enough away that I don't have to worry about the screen cracking. And it has a screen protector because my daughter put a new one on it. Knowing that her daddy is a destructive human being. Alright. Now you can see the progress here. We're getting pretty thin. Well, we were thin from the start, but we're taking shape. Got some nice patterns going there. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it on the pad and pluck away at it and try to get a little bit more shape to it. See how that goes. I'm not sure if I did this or not. And if you can hear the birds in the background, some of those noises are pretty cool. It's a very peaceful place. Got to know my neighbors. It's a young couple. Very nice, very polite. I haven't allowed the wife to do any talking to them yet. My wife don't listen to me anyway, but Heather's a whole different breed of people. Okay. Yeah, I definitely need to come up with a different camera angle. I like Jack Crafty's way, but I don't know if I could have the phone right here, or I think he views through it, if I remember correctly. I don't think I could work like that. But then again, I guess you get used to it. Tim Rayleigh, I think that's the way his name's pronounced. I like watching his videos too. I don't think there's enough of his videos. There's something comical about the young man. I really enjoy it. And he's a lot like me too, just uses what he has on hand. But I'd like to see him make more videos. I have him as a Facebook friend, and we've communicated a few times, a little bit here and there. But I'd like to see him make a few more videos, especially like the green glass. The other flint napper that I was talking about in one of the videos was Flint Napper Jimmy. Damn, that guy's good. But my all-time hero will be Jack Crafty. Lately, he just made another video, and he was using fish aquarium gems made of glass. And I thought to myself once about doing that, but around here, our town don't have Walmarts, big shopping marts, stuff like that. It's all family-owned little businesses, and I personally like it that way. And so access isn't as easy for me. And I don't really like the big shopping places anyway, like Lowe's. I do go to Lowe's when I'm looking for something I know the locals don't have. But if the local business has it and it costs 50 cents more, I don't have an issue paying for that. I really don't. Okay. Did real well on that one. But for the most part, like a lot of the new guys, if you take an interest in what you see here, just pay close attention. Tools like this are real easy to make. You don't have to have a fancy bandsaw and all that other stuff. Grinder. I have those things, but I collected those over the years. Grinder was a thing I had to have. I used to build automobiles. But every once in a while I'll turn the grinder on and I'll just put this in shape. Put something like this aluminum, I can put this in a rod. And it goes about maybe $15, but you get a piece about as tall as yourself. And then you just cut it down into sections. The pipe's about $3. It's a 1/2-inch pipe, 3/8 rod, slips in there. I use it technically so I can put it under my leg. And as you can see, it gets beat pretty well. You don't want to do that with the aluminum rod. So it's a nice snug fit. Just take a ball peen hammer around a few times so this piece don't go flying. This one got wore down just about to the end, so there's about that much of it in there. But that rod will last you long enough. This thing here takes a lot of abuse. Works real well. But this is the kind of stuff you can find in your local hardware stores. And you got $15, $16, $17, $18 invested. You can hacksaw what you need, put it together. Within about 15 minutes, you can sit yourself down on a tiny bucket like I do and beat you some rock. You can experiment with local rock. Sometimes I'll find blue rock down at the railroad beds. You go through them, check them out, smack on them with a hammer like this. If they fracture, take it home, monkey around with it. When you start getting better at it, or even if you keep serious about it, well, then you can start purchasing stuff online. For the most part, you can pick up a box at neolithics.com called The Good, the Bad, the Ugly for 25 bucks. It's stuff that the man deems no good, but he clearly says it's for practice, for newbies. And you can start practicing on that. And as you start getting better or start getting a little bit more confident, you can move up to this stuff like Flint Ridge and Mokite and a few other things like Novaculite. Because you don't want to just go out and buy the fanciest copper bopper or the fanciest leather pad and all those other tools, and then just start beating on expensive rock. Don't go in it like a professional. Be humble. Your outcome will come and your day will come where you'll be happy. You'll be running around showing everyone, look what I made. Ooh, I'm gonna go out and kill a moose. Yeah. Yeah, don't be that guy. See a lot of guys on YouTube just starting out and, you know, doing well. I am not a professional. I never claimed to be. But where I'm at, I'm very happy. Very happy where I'm at. If I do this for the next 10 years, I still won't be a professional. Probably not anyway. But it's a great hobby. It really is. You keep the mind entertained. I look forward to this every day. Sometimes I'll sneak some of it to work with me. You know, in a container. I'll take some of my tools with. Sit in the car outside in the parking lot. And I have a junk pile. You might think that looks pretty cool. But it's an unsatisfactory point to me. But I'll put it in a container, go down to work, and I'll have like a screwdriver like this, and I'll put it on a pad. I'll just keep plucking away, and eventually it either gets smaller or gets a little fancier. And then someone comes along and likes it. Sometimes I'll give them out as gifts. You know, the bad ones, as far as I see it. Or someone says, hey, I'll give you $5 for it, $10. Alright. I didn't get in this to make any money. It's just that people seem to really like them, and I've been moving them. I like that. You know, someone's out there running around with my artwork, probably bragging to all their friends. Look how nice. Nice thin flakes. The post office here in Aquashikla. It's the first time I've ever been in that place. Girl that waited on me, very pleasant little lady. She took an interest in what was in the Tic Tac container. And I made a very, 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 very tiny bird point for a girl out in Kankakee, Ohio, Illinois. Well, the girl in the post office just about lost it. She's like, how the hell did you do that? Very carefully. Alright. Now we're taking on a very good shape here. Alright, so let's see. When you look at it from this point of view, okay, you'll see that this side is lower than this side. So now my objective is to move in from this edge a little closer, because this piece isn't going to be this big. Not by any means. Excuse me. I just realized that I am running almost up to 50 minutes here. Too much jibber-jabbing. But anyway, that's what my plan is. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to run up to 50 minutes, stop the video, and then make basically a part 2 to this. So, I'll show you a little bit more and a little bit closer. Yeah, see how it's all like out of whack? Well, that's what we're going to work on now. Basically, I'm just going to give you close-ups until that second mark runs up to 59. And we got a little problem area up here. And we got a little concavity going here. But we'll work on that. Alright, I'm going to take a short smoke break, and then I'll come out with part 2.